The crystal champagne flute trembled slightly in my hand as I watched my sister-in-law twirl in her new marble-floored foyer, showing off the chandelier that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. My name is Layla, and I've spent 6 years pretending I don't notice things. Today, that changes. Isn't it just perfect? Chloe gushed, her designer heels clicking against the imported Italian tile. The moment we walked in, we just knew this was meant to be our forever home. I forced a smile, the same one I've worn to countless family gatherings. It's beautiful, I managed, taking another sip of champagne to wash down the bitterness rising in my throat. Eleanor, my mother-in-law, swept past me as if I were part of the furniture. Darling, you and Arthur have done magnificently. This neighborhood is exactly where you belong. She turned to my husband. Mark, remember when Chloe used to draw dream houses as a little girl? And now look! Mark beamed at his sister. She always knew what she wanted. Unlike me, apparently. Just 2 weeks ago, Mark had talked me out of viewing that charming craftsman in Oak Park. It's not the right time, he'd said. We need to be smart with our savings. Our savings. The words echoed in my head like a taunt. Everyone! Eleanor clinked her glass. Gather around for a toast. The crowd of family, friends, and neighbors clustered in the vast living room. I counted at least 40 people, all here to celebrate Chloe's perfect life milestone. To my beautiful daughter and her wonderful husband, Eleanor proclaimed, your father would have been so proud to see you in such a magnificent home. To family, to success, and to always supporting each other's dreams. The guests echoed their approval. I noticed my best friend Skylar watching me from across the room, her eyes narrowing with concern. Speech, someone called out. Chloe, tell us how you did it. Chloe giggled, threading her arm through Arthur's. Oh, we just got so lucky. The market aligned perfectly and everything fell into place like magic. Magic, right. Actually, Mark chimed in, raising his glass, it's about the strength of family. When we support each other, incredible things happen. I felt my phone buzz in my clutch. Probably another concerned text from Skylar. I excused myself to the powder room, needing a moment to breathe. The bathroom was bigger than our master bedroom. I leaned against the marble counter, studying my reflection. Same brown eyes, same carefully maintained smile, same woman who's been swallowing her words for years. My phone buzzed again. I reached for it, but my hand brushed against something in my clutch, an old receipt I'd stuffed in there earlier today while searching for my lip gloss. I pulled it out, intending to toss it, when the header caught my eye. Transfer confirmation amount, $50,000, from Joint Savings, Mark and Layla Newman. To Eleanor Newman. Date, 2 weeks ago. My hand started shaking. The same day Mark said no to viewing our potential home. The same week Chloe and Arthur's offer was accepted. A knock startled me. Layla? Mark's voice. Mom's looking for you. She wants a family photo. Coming, I called out, my voice steady despite the volcano erupting in my chest. I tucked the receipt back into my clutch and opened the door. Mark smiled, that charming smile that once made me feel like the luckiest woman alive. There you are. Everything okay? Perfect, I replied, matching his smile with practiced ease. Just freshening up. We rejoined the party. Eleanor orchestrated the photo, positioning Chloe in the center, naturally. Layla, dear, could you stand at the end? The lighting's better that way. I took my assigned spot, the perfect daughter-in-law at the edge of the frame. The photographer counted down. Everyone say, home sweet home. Click. Later that night, after Mark fell asleep, I sat in our dark kitchen with my laptop. My hands moved swiftly across the keyboard, logging into our online banking. The transfer receipt wasn't a mistake. There were others too, smaller amounts, carefully spaced, all to Eleanor or Chloe over the past 3 months. Yes, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. Instead, I did something I should have done years ago. I started taking screenshots, and as I hit print on the first batch of evidence, a strange calm settled over me. They built their perfect life with my silence as the foundation. Time to see how it stands when I start making noise. You're telling me they took 50 grand from your joint savings without even mentioning it to you? Skylar's voice crackled through my earbuds as I power walked through the park. That's not just shady, that's illegal. Keep your voice down, I whispered, though no one was nearby. And yes, I've found more transfers too. Smaller amounts, but they add up. Girl, you need to lawyer up. I stopped at a bench, watching a family playing frisbee. I need to be smart about this. Remember last Christmas? When they canceled your family dinner plans last minute because Chloe was going through something? Yeah, turned out her something was a spa weekend in Aspen. Eleanor planned it, Mark knew about it, and no one thought to tell me until I'd already cooked for 12 people. Skylar's disgust was audible. And you just let it go? What was I supposed to do? Make a scene? Eleanor would have turned it around, made me look unstable, like she did with that family vacation to Hawaii. The one you weren't invited to? Mark said it was a siblings thing. Then I saw photos on Instagram. Arthur was there. Eleanor called it an oversight when I brought it up. A notification popped up on my phone. An email from Mark. Hold on, I told Skylar, opening the message. Hey babe, lunch today? Have something to discuss. Love you. He wants to meet for lunch, I said. Should I go? Hell yes. Act normal. See what he says. 2 hours later, I sat across from Mark at our usual cafe. He looked nervous, fidgeting with his wedding ring. So, he started, I've been thinking about what you said about wanting to buy a house. I kept my face neutral. Oh? I know you were disappointed about the Craftsman, but I think I found something better. There's this new development. What happened to our savings? I interrupted, keeping my tone casual. He blinked. What do you mean? I was looking at our account yesterday. Seems lower than I remember. Oh, that. He waved dismissively. Just some market fluctuations. You know how investments go. The lie slid off his tongue so smoothly I almost admired his technique. Almost. Right, I said, smiling. Those pesky fluctuations. That evening, I met Skylar at her apartment. She poured wine while I spread out the documentation I'd gathered. Look at this email thread, I said, pointing to a printed conversation. Eleanor to Mark 3 months ago. Darling, Chloe needs our help with the down payment. Layla doesn't need to know yet. We'll handle it like always. Like always? Skylar's eyes widened. There's more? I'm still digging. But I found something interesting about Mark's company stock options. My phone buzzed. Chloe calling. I declined it. She's been calling all day, I explained. Probably wants to show me her new kitchen backsplash or something. When are you going to confront them? I took a long sip of wine. Not yet. The second housewarming party is next weekend, the one for Mark's work contacts. Chloe loves an audience. You're not thinking what I think you're thinking. Eleanor taught me well, I said, a cold smile forming. Everything's better with the witnesses. The next morning, I casually mentioned to Mark that I'd scheduled a financial planning consultation. What? Why? His fork clattered against his plate. Just being proactive about our future, I said, buttering my toast. You're always saying we should be smarter with money. Cancel it, he said quickly. Our advisor at my firm handles everything. The one who never copies me on emails? I kept my eyes on my toast. I'd just feel better having a second opinion. Layla. His voice had that warning tone he'd learned from Eleanor. Trust me to handle this. I looked up, meeting his eyes. Like you handled Chloe's down payment? The color drained from his face. Before he could respond, his phone rang. Eleanor's ringtone. He practically ran to the other room to answer it. I pulled out my phone and texted Skylar. He knows that I know. Time for phase 2. Her response came instantly. Just heard from Brendan at the office. You're not going to believe what Mark's been saying about family investments at work. I smiled, screenshot the text, and added it to my growing folder of evidence. 6 years of being the family doormat had taught me patience. 2 weeks of discovering their betrayal had taught me purpose. The second housewarming party was 4 days away. Eleanor wanted witnesses. I'd give her a show she'd never forget. Mrs. Newman, I understand your concerns, the lawyer said, studying the document spread across her desk. The good news is, joint accounts mean joint ownership. They can't claim you had no right to this information. I nodded, adding another paper to the pile. I'm not looking to sue. I just need to protect myself. Smart. Let's separate your personal accounts first. Then we'll discuss options for the marital assets. She leaned forward. Have you considered filing for— Not yet, I interrupted. One bomb at a time. After the meeting, I headed to my favorite coffee shop to meet Skylar. She was already there, practically vibrating with news. You're not going to believe what Brendan told me, she said as I sat down. He overheard Mark in the break room, bragging about how family money means smarter investments. Then he mentioned something about accessing company accounts to help Mom with the situation. I nearly dropped my coffee. He's planning to take more? Brendan thinks he already has. He seemed nervous about it. I pulled out my phone and started recording. Tell me exactly what Brendan said. That evening, I played the perfect wife, made Mark's favorite dinner, listened to him complain about work, didn't flinch when he mentioned the upcoming housewarming party. Mom wants us there early to help set up, he said between bites. Of course she does, I smiled. I'll bring my laptop to show Chloe those interior design websites she asked about. He looked relieved. They probably thought I was falling back in line, accepting my place in their hierarchy. My phone buzzed. A text from Chloe. Can you believe Eleanor? She's making me do another party, but at least this one's for Mark's work people, important connections and all that. You'll help me get ready, right? You're so good at staying in the background and making things run smoothly. I texted back, wouldn't miss it. The next morning, I met with the bank manager. I'd like to open a separate account, I said, sliding over my documentation. And I need copies of all joint account transactions for the past year. Personal records? He asked. Evidence? He nodded, understanding in his eyes. By lunch, I had everything I needed. That afternoon, I recorded a phone call with Eleanor. She'd called to discuss the seating arrangement for the party. Layla, dear, I think it's best if you help in the kitchen during the main presentations. Chloe needs everything to be perfect for Mark's colleagues. Of course, Eleanor, whatever you need. I hit save on the recording. Should I prepare a toast? Oh, no, dear. Mark and I will handle the speeches. You just focus on keeping the drinks flowing. Perfect. Later, I sat in my car outside Chloe's house, watching Eleanor's Mercedes pull into the driveway. Through the window, I could see them laughing, probably planning their perfect party. I opened my laptop and began typing. To family, to trust, to 50,000 reasons why silence is no longer an option. My phone rang. Skylar. Brendan's willing to talk to HR, she said. He's worried about potential fraud. Tell him to wait. The party first. You're really going through with this? I watched Eleanor air kiss Chloe goodbye. They want to treat me like the help? Fine. I'll serve them exactly what they deserve. The next 2 days were a blur of preparation. I had my hair done, bought a new dress, classic black, elegant, memorable, printed copies of bank statements, emails, and screenshots, created a simple PowerPoint presentation. The morning of the party, Mark was unusually attentive. You seem different lately, he said, watching me apply makeup. Do I? Calmer. Happier, maybe. He kissed my cheek. I'm glad you're finally accepting how our family works. I met his eyes in the mirror. Oh, I've accepted a lot of things recently. 3 hours before the party, I did a final check of my evidence folder. Everything was in order. Bank statements, recorded conversations, Brendan's testimony, emails about the company accounts. I'd even found old texts from Eleanor to Chloe, laughing about keeping me in the dark. My phone buzzed. Eleanor, don't forget to pick up the extra wine and wear something subtle. I looked at my black dress hanging on the door. Subtle enough to blend in, striking enough to command attention when needed. Just like me. I texted back, on my way. Everything will be perfect. And for once, I wasn't lying. Chloe's house sparkled under perfectly positioned spotlights as Mark's colleagues filed in. I stood by the bar, counting heads. 23 witnesses so far, including 3 senior partners from his firm. Layla, the caterers need direction. Eleanor swept past, immaculate in designer silk. The kitchen is... Actually, I promised Mark I'd greet the Thompson account team. I interrupted smoothly. Maybe Chloe can help. Eleanor's perfectly lined lips tightened, but Mark was watching. Of course, dear. I circulated the room, playing my role. Smile, nod, laugh at the right moments. The USB drive in my clutch felt like it was burning through the leather. Everything ready? Skylar whispered, appearing at my elbow. Just waiting for Eleanor's toast. She always goes first. Right on cue, Eleanor clinked her glass. The room hushed. Welcome, everyone, she beamed at the crowd. We're so blessed to celebrate Chloe and Arthur's beautiful new home, a testament to hard work, family values, and the power of supporting one another's dreams. I caught Arthur shifting uncomfortably. Did he know where his down payment really came from? To my wonderful children, Eleanor continued, who understand that family means always being there for each other. And to Mark, whose generosity and business acumen make me prouder every day. Mark raised his glass, shooting me a warning look. He knew I knew. He was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Time to drop it. I stepped forward, glass raised. I'd like to say something too. Eleanor's smile flickered. Layla, dear, we should let the caterers... It'll just take a moment. I turned to face the crowd. When Eleanor mentions family support, she's absolutely right. In fact, I'd like to share exactly how this beautiful home came to be. Skylar discreetly connected my phone to the room's smart TV. The first screenshot appeared, our joint account statement. 2 weeks ago, $50,000 was transferred from my joint savings with Mark to Eleanor's account. My voice carried clearly through the stunned silence. The same day Mark told me we couldn't afford to view a house for ourselves. Chloe's champagne glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the marble floor. But that's just the beginning. I clicked to the next slide. Here's an email thread between Mark and Eleanor, planning how to hide the transfers. And here, click, are the smaller amounts they've been siphoning for months. Layla, stop this immediately, Eleanor hissed. Why? Isn't family about transparency? I turned to Arthur. Did Chloe tell you where the down payment came from? Arthur's face had gone pale. She said it was from her bonus. Interesting, I clicked again, because here's a text conversation where Eleanor and Chloe discuss using Mark's contribution specifically for the down payment. Mark stepped forward. This is inappropriate. Oh, we're just getting to the inappropriate part. I nodded to Skylar, who played the recorded phone call through the speakers. Eleanor and Chloe's voices filled the room, laughing about keeping me in the dark. One of Mark's partners cleared his throat. Mark, is this about the discretionary account access you mentioned? The color drained from Mark's face. Actually, I smiled, I have some interesting documents about that too. Brendan from accounting was quite concerned. That's enough! Eleanor's voice cracked like a whip. How dare you embarrass this family? Family? I laughed. You mean the people who excluded me from vacations, Who canceled Christmas plans I'd spent weeks preparing for? Who stole from me to fund your golden child's perfect life? The room had gone deathly quiet. Even the caterers were frozen in the doorway. I have copies of everything, I announced, pulling envelopes from my clutch. Bank statements, emails, recordings. Feel free to pass them around. I'm sure the partners will find the company account details particularly interesting. Arthur, Chloe whimpered, I can explain. Save it. Arthur's voice was ice. We'll discuss this at home. Our fraudulently obtained home. Eleanor stepped toward me, trembling with rage. You vindictive little... Careful, Eleanor. I held up my phone. Still recording. Mark grabbed my arm. Layla, please, we can talk about this privately. I pulled away. Like you talked about stealing our savings privately? Or plotting with your mother privately? Or using company funds privately? One of the partners was already on his phone, speaking urgently. Another was examining the documents I distributed. I'd suggest everyone enjoy the catering, I announced. I hear Eleanor spent a fortune on it, though I'm not sure from which account. I turned to leave, but stopped at the door. Oh, and Chloe, you're right. I'm good at making things run smoothly, especially the truth. The last thing I saw was Eleanor crumpling into a chair, her perfect mask finally cracking, while Mark's colleagues huddled in corners, whispering and staring at their phones. Skylar met me at my car. Holy shit, she breathed. Take me home, I said. The real show's about to start. My phone started ringing before I even reached Skylar's apartment. First Eleanor, then Mark, then Chloe. I declined them all. Listen to this voicemail, Skylar said, holding out her phone. Brendan's voice played through the speaker. I had to tell you, it's chaos at the office. The partners called an emergency meeting. Mark's been asked not to come in tomorrow. Something about investigating unauthorized access to client accounts. Another call. Arthur this time. I answered. I need to know everything, he said, his voice raw. The full amount they took, where it came from, all of it. Check your email. I sent you a detailed breakdown. Layla, he paused. Chloe's crying, saying I'm choosing a stranger over family. Funny how family only matters when they're caught. After hanging up, I opened my laptop to find my inbox flooded. Most surprising was an email from Tatum in HR at Mark's firm, requesting a meeting. You don't have to go, Skylar said, pouring wine. Actually, I do. I forwarded her Brendan's latest message. Mark tried accessing private company accounts to help Eleanor with something. They need my statement. My phone buzzed with a text from Eleanor. You've made your point. Now fix this before you destroy everything we've built. I replied, You built it with my money. Let's see how it stands on its own. The doorbell rang. Mark. Don't answer it, Skylar warned, but I was already moving. I opened the door to find him disheveled, eyes wild. What have you done? Exactly what you taught me. I protected family interests. The partners are talking about an audit. Mom's having chest pains. Chloe's marriage is built on lies, I finished. Like everything else. He stepped closer. I'll pay it back. All of it. We can say it was a misunderstanding. The same way you misunderstood that taking money from our joint savings without my consent is theft. It was for Chloe. It was my money. We're married. What's yours is... Save it for the HR meeting tomorrow. I started closing the door. Oh, and Mark, I've frozen all our joint accounts. What's mine is no longer yours. The next morning, I met with Tatum in a sterile conference room. She recorded everything as I laid out the timeline, providing emails and bank statements. And you have proof Mr. Newman accessed company accounts for personal use? I played Brendan's recorded conversation about Mark's family investments. Tatum's professional mask cracked slightly. This is extensive. 6 years of receipts. I smiled. Eleanor taught me to keep good records. My phone lit up with a text from Arthur. Moving out temporarily. Chloe confessed there's more money involved. Meeting with a lawyer tomorrow. Another message popped up from Chloe. You've ruined everything. Arthur's leaving. Mom's a mess. Mark's career is in jeopardy. Are you happy now? I typed back, about as happy as I was watching you celebrate your stolen house. That afternoon, Eleanor's lawyer called. I forwarded him to my attorney without a word. They're trying to claim you acted maliciously, my lawyer reported later. But given the paper trail and joint account laws, they don't have a case. What about the company investigation? She hesitated. That's becoming a criminal matter. I was making dinner when Mark finally came home. He looked defeated. I've been suspended, he said quietly. Pending investigation. I know. Mom's doctor prescribed anxiety medication. Chloe's lost 2 sponsorship deals because someone posted your speech online. I stirred the pasta sauce. Consequences are uncomfortable, aren't they? Please, he moved closer. Tell me how to fix this. I turned to face him. Fix what, Mark? The theft? The lies? The years of watching your family treat me like an ATM with a pulse? I love you. No. I stepped back. You love what I provided. Stability, silence, submission, the perfect backdrop for your family's drama. That's not fair. Neither was stealing from me to buy your sister a house. He slumped against the counter. What do you want? I want you to feel what I felt. The betrayal, the humiliation, the slow realization that the people you trusted most were laughing at you behind your back. You never fight fair, he whispered. I turned off the stove and grabbed my pre-packed overnight bag. No, I fight smart, and I learned from the best, your mother. As I left our apartment, my phone buzzed with a news alert. The story had leaked to local business media. Mark's firm was launching a full audit. I texted Skylar. Phase 3 complete. Ready for the finale? Her response was immediate. Girl, you're just getting started. The HR conference room felt colder than usual as Tatum spread documents across the table. 3 other executives sat stone-faced beside her. Let's review the timeline, Tatum said, clicking her pen. When exactly did you become aware of the unauthorized transfers? I pulled out my folder. 2 weeks ago, I found the first receipt, but looking back through records, it started 3 months ago. And the company accounts? Brendan can explain that better than I can. On cue, Brendan entered, looking nervous but determined. He placed a thick folder on the table. Mark approached me about accessing discretionary funds, he said. Said it was for a family emergency. When I questioned it, he mentioned Eleanor needed help with medical bills. But that wasn't true, I added. No. Brendan opened his folder. The transfers went to personal accounts, then to real estate holdings. My phone buzzed. Arthur calling. I excused myself to take it. Layla, I found something in Chloe's email. His voice shook. There's a whole thread about Eleanor using company money to cover gambling debts. Mark knew. I returned to the conference room. You'll want to hear this. 2 hours later, I sat in my lawyer's office watching her review the new evidence. This is bigger than family fraud now, she said. The SEC might get involved. My phone lit up with a text from Chloe. Arthur's filing for annulment. Says the marriage was based on fraud. How could you do this to me? I typed back. Ask your mother. She wrote the playbook. That evening, Skylar and I sat in her living room, watching the local news. Mark's firm had released a statement about investigating financial irregularities. Eleanor's been calling everyone in her social circle, Skylar said, scrolling through social media, trying to control the narrative, but that video of your speech has gone viral. How bad? 20,000 views. People are calling it rich family karma. My phone rang. Mark. What do you want? I answered. Mom's in the hospital. His voice cracked. Panic attack. The country club rescinded her membership after the news broke. Please, can we just talk? Like you talked to me about stealing our savings? I was trying to protect my family. I was your family too, Mark. Or did you forget that part? Silence. The audit team found everything, I continued. The gambling cover-ups, the fake medical bills, the property fraud. You're not just suspended anymore, are you? He started to cry. They're pressing charges. Actions have consequences. Eleanor taught me that. After hanging up, I opened my email to find a message from Arthur's lawyer requesting a formal statement about the financial deception. You know what's ironic? I said to Skylar. They always treated me like I was beneath them. Too simple to understand their sophisticated family dynamics. Now they understand you perfectly. My phone buzzed again. Eleanor had sent a group text. Family meeting. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Attendance mandatory. Skylar snorted. She's still trying to control everything. Not anymore. I blocked the number. The next morning, Tatum called with an update. The investigation had expanded. They needed more statements, more documentation. The partners are furious, she said. This could affect client trust. I have more records, I offered. Every transfer, every hidden email. Bring everything. I was gathering files when someone pounded on Skylar's door. Chloe, you've destroyed my life, she screamed when I opened it. Arthur's lawyers are freezing our assets. I might lose the house. You mean my house? The one my money helped buy? It wasn't supposed to be like this. Mom said what? That it was okay to steal from me? That I didn't matter? Tears streaked her makeup. We're family. Family doesn't steal from family, Chloe. Family doesn't lie and manipulate and gaslight. Please, she whispered, help me fix this. I looked at her, really looked at her. The golden child finally tarnished. I can't fix what you broke, I said, but I can give you some advice. Start telling the truth. To Arthur, to the investigators, to yourself. They'll hate me. They already do. The truth is just a formality now. After she left, Skylar handed me a glass of wine. You okay? I checked my phone. More missed calls from Mark, another hospital update about Eleanor, 3 messages from the investigation team. You know what's funny? I said. They spent years making me feel small, but I was taking notes the whole time. On what? How to dismantle an empire. I raised my glass, one receipt at a time. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Local finance firm launches criminal investigation into executive fraud. The dominoes were falling, and I had front row seats to the show. The SEC is formally investigating Mark's firm, Tatum announced, sliding a document across her desk. They want to interview you next week. I nodded, scanning the subpoena. 3 weeks had passed since the housewarming party, and the avalanche hadn't stopped. My phone buzzed. A news notification. Local influencer loses sponsorships amid family financial scandal. Have you seen Chloe's latest post? Skylar texted. She's doing a public apology tour. I opened Instagram to find Chloe's tearful video. I know I've let down my followers. The house tour videos weren't entirely truthful about our funding sources. The comments were brutal. Any word from Eleanor? Tatum asked, pulling me back to the meeting. She's been released from the hospital. Her lawyer keeps sending settlement offers. And Mark? I pulled up his latest email. The partners are pressing charges. Mom's accounts are frozen. Please help me explain this isn't what it looks like. He's still trying to fix the unfixable, I said. Walking out of the office, I ran into Brendan. They found more, he said quietly. Mark was skimming from client accounts for years. Eleanor used it to cover gambling losses at 3 different casinos. My phone rang. Arthur. The annulment's going through, he said without preamble, but there's a problem with the house. The bank's investigating the down payment fraud. Let me guess. Chloe wants me to help? She's desperate. The influencer contracts were her only income. I stepped into my car, checking my messages. One from my lawyer caught my eye. Eleanor's country club is suing her for unpaid debts. They're claiming she wrote bad checks. A text from Skylar popped up. Girl, you're trending. That party video hit 100K views. I clicked the link. The comments were a mix of satisfaction and shock. Rich people karma is so satisfying. The way she just calmly exposed everything, queen behavior. That family messed with the wrong woman. My work email pinged, a surprise bonus notification. My quiet competence had finally been noticed, now that I wasn't hidden in Mark's shadow. Another call. Chloe again. "The bank is foreclosing," she sobbed. "Mom can't help because her assets are frozen. Arthur's lawyers say the fraud voids our prenup. I don't know what to do." "Start over," I said simply. Like I had to. But where? How? Try the truth. It's surprisingly affordable. I hung up and drove to my new apartment, a modest but sunny downtown loft I'd leased with my bonus. The doorman handed me a package. Flowers from Mark. The card read, "You never fight fair." I texted back, "No, I fight smart." My laptop pinged with an email from a podcast producer. "Your story's gone viral. Would you consider sharing it on our platform? We focus on financial abuse and family trauma." Before I could respond, breaking news flashed across my screen. Local executive charged with financial fraud faces federal investigation. My phone exploded with notifications. Eleanor had posted a public statement. "My family has been targeted by malicious accusations. We've always prioritized helping each other. Some people simply don't understand our values." The comments were ruthless. Values like theft, family-style fraud. "Karma comes for everyone," Skylar called. "Have you seen the news? Mark's firm is filing criminal charges." I saw. I poured myself wine. Eleanor's still trying to spin it. "Yeah, well, her spin's not working. The country club ladies are giving interviews about her bounced checks and gambling debts." My email pinged again. "Tatum, the investigation's expanding. We need your full statement about the company account access. Also, there's a position opening in our compliance department." I smiled, remembering Eleanor's constant dismissals of my career. "Layla, dear, why bother working when Mark can provide?" Another text from Chloe. "The bank seized the house. Can I stay with you?" "No," I replied, "but I hear Eleanor has plenty of room." My lawyer called with updates. The SEC investigation was intensifying, Mark's firm was cooperating fully, and Eleanor's assets were frozen pending criminal investigation. "They're facing serious charges," she said. "The fraud trail goes back years." I walked to my window, watching the city lights flicker on. My phone buzzed one last time. Mark again. "I've lost everything. My job, my reputation, my family's respect. Are you happy now?" I thought about the years of subtle humiliation, the stolen money, the lies. "Happiness wasn't the goal," I typed back. "Justice was." Then I blocked his number, opened my laptop, and began writing my story for the podcast. They say karma comes for everyone eventually, but sometimes karma needs a little help with the paperwork. Welcome to The Cost of Silence, where we expose family financial abuse. I spoke into the microphone, adjusting my headset. Today's story comes from a listener in Seattle. The studio lights glowed warm as I shared another woman's story of family betrayal, my 10th episode since the podcast launched. Each tale echoed pieces of my own. My phone lit up with a text from Skylar. "Chloe's outside your building." Again. I sighed, wrapping up the recording. When I reached the lobby, Chloe stood there, looking smaller without her designer clothes and Instagram filters. "I got a job interview," she said quietly. "But they'll Google me. Everything that comes up is bad. Truth hurts, doesn't it? I never meant," she swallowed. "I never thought about where the money came from. It was just always there. Until it wasn't. Mom's facing prison time. Did you know that?" I nodded. The SEC investigation found decades of fraud. Mark's plea deal included testifying against her. He's working at a small firm now, entry level. She laughed bitterly. We used to make fun of people who had jobs like that. My phone buzzed. Tatum from HR. The compliance department presentation went well. The board wants to implement your accountability protocols company-wide. Karma's funny that way, I told Chloe. You lose what you steal, but you keep what you earn. Arthur's dating someone new, she said suddenly. Someone normal. With a real job and her own money. Like I was supposed to be? I'm sorry. Her voice cracked. I really am. I know. I checked my watch. Good luck with the interview. Try being honest. It's a novel approach for our family. Back in my apartment, I found an email from my lawyer. Eleanor's sentencing was scheduled. The prosecution had evidence of gambling debts across 3 states. My doorbell rang. Skylar with takeout. Guess what? She grinned. Your podcast hit #1 in the personal finance category. The network wants to expand to television. They want to tell my story. They want you to tell all the stories. The hidden financial abuse, the family fraud, everything. I opened my laptop, showing her the latest email. Mark sent another apology. Says he's in therapy, learning about emotional manipulation and financial abuse. Too little, too late, too calculated, too convenient. I deleted it without responding. My phone rang. Arthur, the house sold at auction, he said. I thought you should know, given that some of it was technically yours. Keep the money, I replied. Consider it the price of learning who people really are. After dinner, I stood in my home office, staring at the framed bank statement on my wall, the first transfer I discovered. My phone buzzed with a notification. Eleanor's country club was filing civil suits against her for years of financial deception. Another text from Chloe. I got the job. Entry-level admin work. It's humbling. Humble is good, I replied. Honest is better. The podcast producer called with exciting news. We'd been picked up by a major network. They wanted to focus on empowering victims of financial abuse to reclaim their narratives. Your story started this movement, she said. How do you feel about being the face of it? I looked at my wall of evidence, the emails, the bank statements, the screenshots, each piece a lesson in paying attention. I'll do it, I said, but I want to focus on prevention, not just exposure, teaching people to spot the red flags I ignored. Later that night, I received one final email from Eleanor's account. You've won. The family is destroyed. I hope you're satisfied with what you've done to us. I typed my response carefully. I didn't destroy the family, Eleanor. I exposed what was already broken. The difference is, I'm building something new from the truth, while you're still trying to sell lies no one's buying anymore. My doorbell rang again. This time it was Brendan. The SEC wants to know if you'll consult on other cases, he said. Your documentation methods were impressive. I smiled, thinking of all those years Eleanor spent teaching me to keep quiet and play nice. Tell them yes, I said. I'm good at following paper trails. That night, I added a final frame to my wall, the podcast analytics showing thousands of listeners, thousands of stories waiting to be told. My phone lit up one last time, a message from a stranger. Your story gave me courage. I'm leaving my financially abusive family tomorrow. Thank you for showing me how. I touched the framed bank statement, my first piece of evidence. Eleanor had taught me to keep records of everything. She just never expected me to use them. You're welcome, I typed back. Remember, the truth doesn't need defending. It just needs witnesses.